After working in the underworld for 300 years, I was informed that I had to be reincarnated, or my soul would dissipate. In my last life, I was broke and lost a fight with a dog over a pancake. I literally starved to death. This time, I had to be reborn into a wealthy family. But even clutching the wages I had saved for 300 years, I looked around the reincarnation office and still couldn't afford even the cheapest rich heir's placement. In the end, the fate official recommended a rock-bottom placement, a rich family's fake heir, with room and board included for 18 years. But once the real heir returned, the family affection could be withdrawn at any time. I paid on the spot. They could take back their affection, but they couldn't take back my money. And so, in this life, I became the Fang family's fake heir. When I received lucky money at 5, other children bought toys, but I used all of mine to buy tiny gold nuggets. At 12, my sister asked whether I wanted her company or a supplementary card. I decisively took the card. Over time, my sister grew disgusted with how money obsessed I was. My fiancé also said I didn't understand love. When I turned 18, the real heir was found and brought home. My sister stood up for him, and my fiancé went shopping with him. Even my parents were desperate to make up for all the love they owed him. The real heir came to me with reddened eyes. Big brother, blood ties can never be severed. The person my sister and parents truly love should have been me all along. As for the engagement, it should also return to its rightful owner. I sighed with relief. As long as he didn't mention the money. Fine, sis. You can have the fiancé too. But let me make one thing clear. Whoever touches my money will have to fight me to the death. My sister, Fang King, darkened with anger. Fang Yuan, what do you take us for? Material possessions, of course. I answered without hesitation. After all, when I starved to death in my last life, I cried to the heavens, but no one answered. I cried to the earth, but no help came. Not a sister or fiancé came falling from the sky to put a mouthful of hot food in my mouth. So the moment I opened my eyes in this life, I understood one simple truth. Love offers only emotional value. Money buys food. Fang Zun clearly hadn't expected me to be so agreeable. After staring blankly for a moment, he said softly, Big brother, I don't want to take everything from you. I just want a family so badly. I patted his hand. I understand. Take as much family affection as you want. There's no limit. Fang King could take no more. Could you stop being so sarcastic? Fang Zun suffered for 18 years out there and finally made it home. Can't you show him even a little kindness? I was about to reply when a servant suddenly came downstairs. Sir, ma'am, the second young master's luggage has arrived, but the guest room upstairs hasn't been prepared yet. Fang Zun pressed his lips together and spoke softly. It's all right. I can stay in the guest room. Mrs. Fang frowned with concern. After hesitating briefly, she turned to me. That guest room faces north. It's freezing in winter. How could anyone live there? Fang Yuan, why don't you move into the guest room for now and give your current room to Fang Zun? Your room gets good light and has a walk-in closet. Fang Zun is in poor health and needs more sunlight. So this was what the fate official meant by family affection being withdrawn at any time. He'd been back for only 2 hours, and they were already taking my room. That was impressively efficient. Still, the house had never been mine. There was no need to make a scene over one room. All right, Mrs. Fang breathed a sigh of relief, but a flicker of surprise crossed Fang Zun's eyes. He clearly didn't believe I would agree so easily. I took out my phone and opened the calculator. The bed I bought myself at 15 would cost 12,000 yuan to dismantle and move. The cabinets by the window were high-end custom-made pieces. Hiring professionals overnight to dismantle and pack them would cost 35,000 yuan in overtime and damage fees. Then there's this 200-kilogram safe. Rough handling could damage its mechanical arm. It requires the manufacturer's service team. 50,000 yuan. That makes 97,000 yuan for expedited relocation. WeChat or Alipay. I handed the calculation to Fang Zun. Transfer the money, and I'll move immediately. His face froze. The vein in Fang King's temple throbbed. You need nearly 100,000 yuan just to move. Why not have the servants throw your things into the guest room? What if they damage my 60-1,000 yuan desk? Will you reimburse me at full price? Since you're the ones rushing me out, of course you'll pay the damage fees. Pay me, and I won't stay in this room a second longer. Fang King was speechless for a long moment. Mrs. Fang looked embarrassed. Fang Yuan, we're family. Don't keep such careful accounts. He wants family affection, and I want money. We're each getting what we need. What's wrong with that? Mr. Fang rubbed his temples. Then he pulled out his phone and transferred 100,000 yuan to me. The extra 3,000 is compensation for your emotional distress. Satisfied now? My phone chimed to confirm the payment. My mood brightened instantly. Extremely satisfied. I called a moving company that very night and emptied the room until only 4 walls remained. I didn't even leave behind the 88 yuan trash can I bought myself. Fang Zun stood in the empty bedroom. His eyes slowly reddened. He probably thought I would be reluctant to leave, but he didn't understand. To me, The only thing in this world worth holding on to was money that had already entered my pocket. At breakfast the next morning, Fang Zun came downstairs with swollen, red-rimmed eyes. Fang King immediately put down her chopsticks to comfort him. Didn't sleep well last night. I may just be unused to the new surroundings. It's not Big Brother's fault. It would have been fine if he hadn't mentioned it. The moment he did, everyone's eyes turned toward me. I was busy weighing a tiny gold nugget. The moment yesterday's 100,000 yuan came through, I made an appointment at a gold shop. I planned to convert it all into gold that afternoon. Money in a bank account can lose value and someone could freeze the account. Gold was different. It felt safer in my hand. Fang King grew irritated watching me. You're eating, so eat. Why are you holding a scale? Gold prices have been fluctuating lately. I'm calculating how much the gold I own has increased in value. You reek of money. Thank you for the compliment. Fang King choked on her anger, her face turning red. Just then, old Mr. Fang entered with a cane. He was the only person in the family who didn't resent my love of money. When I received my first lucky money at 5, everyone urged me to buy toys. But he alone took me to a gold shop and told me gold held its value better than a plastic toy horse. After that, every year when I received lucky money, he saved half of it for me. He often said that a man could only stand tall when he had money in his hands. I immediately put away the little scale and went to support him. Grandpa, what brings you here so early? I came to see my real grandson. The old man called Fang Zun over and slipped a brilliant green jade thumb ring from his finger. You've suffered out there all these years. Now that you're home, no one will ever bully you again. Fang Zun accepted it with tears in his eyes. When Mrs. Fang saw the thumb ring, she suddenly seemed to remember something. Dad, now that Fang Zun is back, what about the gold longevity lock you gave Fang Yuan? Shouldn't it be returned to Fang Zun as well? My hand froze as I reached for a bun. That gold lock weighed a full 120 grams. It had been passed down through the Fang family, and the old man had personally placed it around my neck. At my first birthday celebration, Fang Zun immediately waved his hands. No need. Since Grandpa gave it to Big Brother, it belongs to him. Mrs. Fang sighed, but it was originally meant for the Fang family's biological grandson. We made a mistake back then. Now it should return to its rightful owner. Fang King nodded along. Fang Yuan, you have so much gold. You don't need this piece. Give it back to Fang Zun. I swallowed the bun in my mouth and calculated carefully. All right, but Grandpa gave me that gold lock 18 years ago, making it my private property. Gold was worth about 80 yuan per gram then. Now it's over 600 yuan per gram. If you want it back, I'll calculate its value at today's gold price. Then add 18 years of storage and emotional depreciation fees. The total is 100,000 yuan. No haggling. Hearing my calculation, Mrs. Fang was genuinely stunned. This belongs to the family. Why should we have to pay to get it back? If it belongs to the family, then why did you give it to me back then? Once something is given away, it becomes mine. Now you found your biological son and want it back. That isn't returning it to its rightful owner. It's going back on your word. Mr. Fang's face darkened, clearly displeased. Fang Yuan, don't ruin the family's peace over a little money. Then I won't return it. I lowered my head and continued eating my bun. Fang Zun lowered his head, and tears fell. Big brother, I really wasn't trying to take your things. Since you don't want to, keep it. I don't want anything. Fang King suddenly slammed her hand on the table. Fang Zun, why don't you want it? It should have been yours in the first place. Fang Yuan, Fang Zun has been wronged enough. Don't push your luck. The old man finally couldn't listen any longer. His cane struck the floor with a heavy thud. All of you, shut up. I gave that gold lock to Fang Yuan. What does whether he's my biological grandson or not have to do with it? 18 years ago, he was the grandson I cherished in my arms. And 18 years later, he isn't anymore. Mrs. Fang froze. Dad, that's not what I meant. The old man let out a cold laugh. Then what did you mean? Now that Fang Zun is back, we should get him everything he should have had, using another child's belongings to compensate him. What kind of solution is that? With that, he turned to Fang Zun. The thumb ring Grandpa gave you is worth 10 times more than that gold lock. If you still think it's not enough, come with Grandpa to the storeroom tomorrow and choose something. Don't covet the little things your brother has. Grandpa, I wasn't. Fang Zun's face suddenly turned pale. The old man snorted, then before leaving, he placed another bun in my bowl. Eat your fill. Grandpa will take you to buy gold this afternoon. Thank you, Grandpa. I immediately broke into a broad smile. Fang King was so angry that she threw down her chopsticks. I ignored her. A bun costs 3 yuan. Waste food, and karma will catch up with you. On the third day after Fang Zun came home, Ningbing invited us out to dinner. She was my fiancée. More precisely, she was engaged to the Fang family's son. So once Fang Zun came back, I knew whose fiancée she would be. I knew it perfectly well. When I arrived at the restaurant, Ningbing and Fang Zun were already seated inside. A glass of warm milk sat in front of Fang Zun. Ningbing was looking down as she cut his steak for him. When I entered, she merely glanced up. Why are you so late? A gold shop was having a sale on the way, so I stopped to take a look. How did your discussion go? What discussion? The question of who gets the engagement. I took out a document envelope and pushed it toward them. These are the things you've given me over the years. I brought everything that can be returned. The watch, car keys, and ring are all here. Check them against the list. Big brother, what are you doing? I wasn't trying to steal Ningbing from you. I understand. You just want to take back what was originally yours. By Ningbing's expression grew increasingly grim. Instead of opening the envelope, she asked coldly, Fang Yuan, after all these years together, is that all our relationship is worth to you? Of course, it's worth more than that. I took out another list. For your 17th birthday, I gave you a for $100-and-60-1,000 yuan watch. At Christmas 2 years ago, I gave you a 1-100-and-20-1,000 yuan necklace. Then there were the clothes, shoes, and jewelry. Altogether, they came to 837,000 yuan. Since we're ending the engagement, please return them to me as well. I'll accept a reduced price for anything used. I'm quite reasonable. I never asked you to return the things I gave you. Yet you're the one settling accounts with me first. That's why I brought them. Fair is fair. It's fair and reasonable. She stared at me for a long while. Then she suddenly swept the envelope onto the floor. The boxes scattered everywhere. The engagement ring rolled to Fang Zun's feet. He bent down and picked it up. Big brother, don't do this. Ningbing has thought about you all these years. She only gave me extra care because she knew I hadn't had an easy life. You can take the ring back. I really won't try to take her from you. As soon as he finished speaking, the private room door was pushed open. By Ningbing's younger brother, By Ningsh, walked in. He happened to hear the last sentence. Fang Yuan, are you bullying Fang Zun again? Uncle Fang only just found him. He doesn't know anything, and you're already treating him this way. Don't flatter yourself. I'm only discussing the end of our engagement. Stop putting on an act. By Ningsh picked up the watch box and sneered. Who doesn't know how much you love money? You're deliberately using the broken engagement to threaten my sister. You want her to give you extra compensation, don't you? When I heard there was money to be had, I asked sincerely. There's compensation for ending an engagement. Really? You really are thinking about money? I didn't know before, but I do now. By Ningbing's eyes reddened with anger. She angrily spoke from the side. You won't get a single cent. I pushed the list toward her. Fine. Then we'll follow the usual process and return each other's gifts. 837,000. I'll waive the odd amount. Just transfer 830,000 to me. By Ningsh snatched the list away, looking deeply aggrieved. You want to extort money with a few worthless sheets of paper? How do we know you gave these things willingly? I did give them willingly. Looking at the papers scattered across the floor, I felt a pang over the printing cost. Hearing that, By Ningsh looked smug. Then what right do you have to ask for them back? I nodded. Then I took a second list from the document envelope. Perfect. Ningbing's gifts to me were voluntary gifts too, so I won't return them. By my calculation, the things she gave me could now sell for 1,300,000 yuan secondhand, while the things I gave her are worth only 830,000. I'd still make over for 100,000 yuan. Thanks. I bent down and picked up the ring, then put it back in its box. Fang Yuan, you're going to sell the things I gave you? Once you give something to me, it's mine. Why can't I sell it? I opened a secondhand marketplace and listed the ring right in front of her. A wealthy family's bride-to-be, 90% new. Oh wait, a diamond ring from a wealthy family's bride-to-be. Original price, 1,200,000 yuan. Sale price, 880,000. Dear buyers, local pickup is welcome. The moment I posted it, someone sent an inquiry. In an excellent mood, I rose with a smile. I paused as I passed Fang Zun. By Ningbing is yours. The ring is mine. We each get what belongs to us. It's been a pleasure. That very evening, the ring sold for 820,000 yuan. By Ningbing called me 17 times. I didn't answer a single call. I was busy having my gold tested. A week after Fang Zun came home, it happened to be the old man's 70th birthday. The birthday banquet wasn't open to many outsiders. Only the Fang family's relatives attended. The old man didn't care for antiques, but he loved collecting old objects made of gold. He owned 100 Blessings gold album. It was set with 100 small gold pieces from different eras. His late wife had spent decades collecting them for him. I saw it once as a child and nearly drooled. Not because I was craving it. The golden glare was simply too bright and dazzling. Before the birthday banquet began, the old man suddenly sent someone to summon me to the lounge. The room was packed with people. Mr. Fang, Mrs. Fang, Fang King, and Fang Zun, along with several other Fang relatives. An open rosewood box sat on the table. It was completely empty. The old man looked at everyone with a dark expression. My 100 Blessings gold album is missing. My first reaction was to calculate the loss. 100 gold pieces, calculated by weight, were worth more than 4,000,000 yuan by weight, and even more as a collectible. Fang King sharply cut me off. You really only care how much it's worth. What else would I care about? Whether it's good to eat? She choked on her words. Mrs. Fang warily rubbed her temples. Fang Yuan, you were the only one who entered Grandpa's lounge this afternoon. I nodded. I came to give Grandpa a gift. I gave him a small, 200-gram golden longevity peach figurine. The old man is 70 this year. When he turns 80, we can melt it down and change the number. It's endlessly reusable and excellent value. Fang Zun spoke softly. After Big Brother finished giving Grandpa his gift, I saw him standing in front of the 100 Blessings gold album for a long time. I did look at it. With so much gold, it would be a waste not to look. One of my father's cousin's wives suddenly spoke. Could he have taken it? Why not search him and find out? Hasn't he loved gold since he was little? Exactly. I even saw him carrying a large bag upstairs just now. Ever since Fang Zun came back, he's been talking about money nonstop. Who knows if he's worried he won't get any of the Fang family's property later and wants to grab whatever he can now. One accusation followed another, as though loving money automatically meant I would steal it. I turned to Mr. Fang. Do you think so too? Mr. Fang was silent for a few seconds. Once we search your room and luggage and don't find it there, your innocence will speak for itself. Who will search them? The household staff. Who pays for anything they damage? Fang King snapped. At a time like this, you're still thinking only about compensation. Mr. Fang agreed in a low voice. If it's not in there, I'll compensate you, as long as there's money. Everyone went to my room together. They searched the suitcases, under the bed, and the wardrobe. There was nothing. Only the safe remained. I entered the password, and the safe door slowly opened. There was no cash or gold bars inside, only ledger after ledger, and an elegantly wrapped black box. I raised an eyebrow at the box. I'd never seen it before. But Fang Zun suddenly shouted, "Isn't that the box Grandpa kept his gold album in?" Fang King snatched the box out. When she opened it, the missing 100 Blessings gold album was inside. My cousin's wife was the first to cry out. He really did steal it. Mrs. Fang stared at me in disbelief. Fang Yuan, why would you do this? If you needed money, you could have told us. Why take the thing your grandfather treasured most? I didn't take it. Fang King slammed the gold album onto the table. It was in your safe. Only you know the password. Unless it grew legs and walked in there by itself. Fang Zun came over with terror-filled eyes and tugged at me. Brother, I believe you just lost your head for a moment. Apologize to Grandpa, and no one will blame you. I shook off his hand. Don't touch me. If I get mixed up in this, I won't be able to clear my name. He staggered to steps, and Fang King immediately caught him. Mr. Fang's expression had turned thunderous. Fang Yuan, with so many relatives here today, I don't want to make a scene. Admit your mistake and apologize to Grandpa. Then we'll put this matter behind us. I didn't steal it. Why should I apologize? Mrs. Fang's eyes reddened. We've raised you for 18 years. What have we ever done to wrong you? After Fang Zun came back, you emptied your room, then caused such a scene over a few gifts from Ningbing. And now you've even stolen your grandfather's things. In your eyes, is money all the Fang family has worth caring about? I looked at her for a moment. Yes, Mr. Fang lost his temper completely. In that case, leave the Fang family today. But the cars, gold, and property you received from us, you won't take a single thing with you. Several servants blocked the doorway. Fang King produced a hastily written statement and slapped it down in front of me. Sign it. It stated that I voluntarily relinquished every asset the Fang family had given me over the past 18 years, and admitted that I had stolen the 100 Blessings gold album. If I signed, all the gold I'd saved over the years would be gone. If I refused, they would announce to every guest that I was a thief. Fang Zun stood behind his family with his head lowered, but the corner of his mouth curved faintly. He thought he'd won. I smiled too. Fang King, I may love money, but I never cut corners when spending what needs to be spent. With something this valuable in my safe, you didn't really think I hadn't taken even the most basic security precautions, did you? I picked up my phone and opened the app linked to the safe. The hidden camera on the safe door recorded continuously and streamed the footage to the cloud in real time. Anyone who came near the safe would be captured clearly on camera. Fang Zun's smile froze. The video finished loading. When the screen lit up, Fang Zun's figure, holding the black wooden box, appeared clearly in front of everyone. 2 hours before the birthday banquet, he checked that the hallway was empty. Then came in with Annie Wong, who was responsible for cleaning my room. Annie Wong had worked for the Fang family for 12 years and knew where the safe's spare key was kept. She used the key to open the safe, and Fang Zun personally placed the black box inside. The footage was clear, and every movement was visible. The video even captured their conversation at the end. Uneasily, Annie Wong asked, "Second young master, what if we're discovered?" "That won't happen. He loves money too much. Once the item is found in his safe, everyone will believe he took it. After Mom and Dad throw him out, all that gold of his will naturally stay behind. I'll give you 200,000 yuan then." The video ended. I looked at Fang King. Only I know the password, but more than one person knows where the spare key is. Fang King went deathly pale, and Mrs. Fang took half a step back, as if she were meeting Fang Zun for the first time. Tears instantly welled in Fang Zun's eyes. "It's not like that, Mom. Let me explain. He rushed over and grabbed Mrs. Fang's hand, claiming Annie Wong had told him that I planned to secretly take the gold album away. He only wanted to test me. Annie Wong panicked. You were the one who told me to put it there. Shut up. Fang Zun cut her off harshly, then clutched his head and began to cry. I just couldn't accept it. After I came back, Big Brother had everything. A room, Grandpa's affection, and his engagement to Ningbing. Not to mention all that gold, but all of it should have been mine. The old man closed his eyes in disappointment. So, you stole my things to frame Fang Yuan? Grandpa, I only wanted him to leave. I never meant to hurt anyone. I couldn't help reminding him. You wanted me branded a thief, then thrown out with nothing. How is that not harm? Yet Fang King was still defending him. Fang Zun was certainly wrong, but the gold album is still intact, and Fang Yuan didn't actually lose anything. He just came back and feels insecure. His momentary impulse is understandable. If there hadn't been a recording, I would be the one signing that statement now. But you had a recording, didn't you? Now that the misunderstanding has been cleared up, don't keep pushing him. Listen to that logic. The victim has evidence, so apparently the perpetrator didn't cause any harm. Fang Zun, apologize to your brother. Fang Zun asked through his tears if I could forgive him. Brother, I was wrong. Can you forgive me? I can. Everyone froze. I pointed at the safe door Andy Wong had damaged. 20,000 for repairs. 3,000 for reorganizing the ledgers, plus compensation for emotional distress. I'll round it off to 50,000. Once the money arrives, I'll forgive you immediately. Fang King's face darkened again. How can you turn everything into money? Because an apology can be fake, but a transfer can't be. The old man couldn't suppress a chuckle. In the end, Mr. Fang transferred 50,000 yuan for him. I confirmed the payment had arrived and nodded in satisfaction. All right, I forgive you, but I'm still moving out tomorrow. Mrs. Fang suddenly looked up. Why? Hasn't everything been resolved? I looked at her. When you were ready to throw me out just now, you didn't ask whether the matter had been resolved. From the moment Fang Zun came back, this stopped being my home. No. That's not right. Simon warned me long ago. This incarnation only came with 18 years of room and board. Today, the term ended. At 6 the next morning, the moving company's truck stopped outside the Fang residence. I didn't have much. 56 boxes of gold and 12 boxes of shoes and watches, plus a few clothes. Fang King stared at row after row of reinforced safes. Her expression was extremely complicated. Had you already planned to leave? Yeah. I was mentally prepared from the day I was reincarnated. She didn't understand and assumed I was talking nonsense. Mrs. Fang followed behind her, her eyes slightly swollen. Fang Yuan, we were too impulsive last night. Your father has already ordered Fang Zun to stay in his room and reflect. He also fired Annie Wong. You don't have to move out just because you're angry. I'm not upset. I'm an adult now. It's time for me to live independently. Besides, you found your biological son. If I keep living here, I might interfere with your bond with him. Didn't you used to love this family most? I used to live here rent-free, but now, every extra day I stay could make people suspect I'm taking an unfair share. Mr. Fang came out of the study and placed a card on the table. There are 5 million yuan on it. Take it. Finding a place of your own won't be easy. Come back once you've calmed down. I picked up the bank card and held it up to the light. Fang King sneered. You talk tough, but you still took the money, didn't you? I slipped the card into my pocket. What else was I supposed to do? So what? Why wouldn't I take it? Fang King was left speechless. She probably thought that, to prove I had principles, I would throw the 5 million yuan back in Mr. Fang's face. Come on, that's something that only happens in television dramas. When a normal person encounters a situation like this, they should confirm the bank card password first. What's the password? Mr. Fang said grimly. Your birthday. Thanks, Dad. Calling him Dad when taking his money isn't shameful. Mrs. Fang's eyes reddened even more. Mrs. Fang seemed to want to hug me, so I stepped aside. There's one more thing. Bai Ningbing walked in through the door, holding the engagement termination agreement I had signed. She probably hadn't slept all night. She looked terrible. Are you really ending the engagement? I looked at her in confusion. I've already sold the ring. Can we still renew the contract just because I took care of Fang Zun? Number. Because you're no longer worth anything. Before, she was my fiancée, so I had to give her gifts on every holiday. There was also the engagement red envelope from the Bai family. Now Fang Zun is the fiancé. To me, all she had left was her face. And a pretty face can't be exchanged for gold. Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth and handed me the agreement. Don't regret this. I took the agreement and casually handed her a payment notice. What you borrowed from me last year. That set of commemorative gold coins. You still have it returned. Their cash value is 680,000 yuan. Transfer it by the end of today. Otherwise, I'll charge interest by the day. Fang Yuan. I casually scratched my ear. Raising your voice won't help. Bai Ningbing stormed off. An hour later, the 680,000 yuan arrived. I got into the moving company's truck and glanced back at the house where I'd lived for 18 years. I wasn't sorry to leave. All 56 boxes of gold were on the truck. That was reassuring. I rented a well-secured apartment downtown. It wasn't because I couldn't afford to buy. Property prices had been unstable lately. The rent-to-price ratio wasn't worth it. When the old man found out, he gave me his street-facing storefront. This time, I didn't refuse. He made it clear that this was my coming-of-age gift. The gift documents had already been prepared by a lawyer. Everything was in order, so I accepted it with a clear conscience. I used the storefront to open a gold buying shop. I named it We Only Talk Money. On opening day, the old man personally cut the ribbon. He was grinning from ear to ear. "You're only 18. Do you really know how to appraise gold?" I couldn't tell him that I'd worked in the underworld for 300 years and spent 200 of them beside the mirror of retribution, calculating the assets of the dead. Even the living needs skill to falsify accounts. But if the dead falsify accounts, they'll be thrown into boiling oil. So judging purity, calculating loss, and identifying age was easier for me than eating. In less than 3 months after opening, I'd already built up quite a few regular customers. I thought that after leaving the Fang family, my life had finally become peaceful. That was until one day, a customer who dealt in secondhand goods brought in a gold piece bearing the character for fortune. "Boss, tell me how much this is worth." I took the gold piece and glanced at it once. My expression changed immediately. There was an incredibly fine crescent-shaped scratch on the back. It was from when I secretly looked through the 100 Blessings gold album at age 8. And accidentally scratched it with my fingernail. I agonized over it for an entire year. This was one of the pieces from the old man's 100 Blessings gold album, but the album itself had clearly been returned to him. I asked without revealing my thoughts, "Is this the only one?" The customer shook his head. "The seller has quite a few more. He says they were passed down through his family. 100 pieces in total." I was worried they might be fake, so I brought one to test first. "Who is the seller?" "A young man around 20. He said his family urgently needed money. He only accepts cash." I took out my phone and pulled up a photo of Fang Zun. "Is this him?" The customer recognized him at once. "Yes. That's him. I paid double the price to keep the gold piece." Then I called the old man. Half an hour later, the old man rushed to the shop. He took one look, and his hand began to tremble. "This is from the album. Did you inspect the album after you returned home?" Fang Zun returned it to the storeroom himself. I never opened it again. We returned to the Fang residence together. The 100 Blessings gold album was still lying quietly in its rosewood box. But after we opened it, although all 100 gold pieces inside glittered, their weight was wrong. I took out a gold tester. They were all gold-plated copper. The real album had been switched long ago. In other words, what Fang Zun put in my safe on the day of the banquet had been fake from beginning to end. He hadn't merely wanted to drive me out. He also wanted everyone to believe the album had been recovered, so he could conceal the real theft. The old man stared at the test results. His expression grew darker by the second. He ordered the butler to summon everyone in the Fang family to the living room. Half an hour later, Fang Zun hurried back. When he saw the gold pieces on the table, he stopped dead. I leaned back on the sofa and waved the test report in my hand. "Don't be nervous. Today, we only talk money." Fang Zun quickly composed himself. "Brother, what are you talking about? I don't understand." "It's all right if you don't understand." I placed the gold piece with the crescent-shaped scratch in front of him. "You recognize this one, at least." Mrs. Fang glanced at it. Isn't this from the gold album?" "It's from the real album." I pointed to the one on the table. "As for the 100 pieces in this album, they're all fake." Fang King immediately looked at Fang Zun. His eyes reddened. His voice turned plaintive. "Why is everyone looking at me? The gold album has always been kept in Grandpa's vault. Anyone could have access to it." By Ningbing hurried over to and stood beside Fang Zun. "Fang Yuan, you can't blame Fang Zun for everything just because he made one mistake and pin every single thing on him. That's fair." I nodded. "That's why I brought evidence." I placed a stack of purchase receipts on the table. The second-hand dealer had followed my instructions and contacted the seller. They had arranged for this afternoon to complete the deal for the remaining gold pieces. The payment account the seller provided was registered under Fang Zun's name. Besides that, there were also his chat records with Annie Wong. After Annie Wong was fired, Fang Zun was afraid she'd expose everything, so he kept sending her money to keep her quiet. Yesterday, Annie Wong suddenly received a threat from him. He said that if she dared say a word, he'd make sure she couldn't stay in the city. In a fit of anger, Annie Wong sent all the records to the old man. The chat history made everything perfectly clear. On the second day after Fang Zun returned to the Fang family, he learned that the 100 Blessings gold album was worth a fortune. First, he hired a craftsman to make a counterfeit. Then he bribed Annie Wong to switch it. On the day of the birthday banquet, he deliberately put the counterfeit in my safe. If I hadn't had the recording, I would have been accused of theft and driven out of the Fang Fang family, while he slowly sold off the genuine pieces. If I cleared my name, everyone would simply assume the album had been returned to its proper place and never open it for inspection again. He'd kill two birds with one stone. After Fang Zun read the chat records, all color drained from his face. What did you need so much money for? I just wanted to leave myself a way out. He suddenly burst into tears. You all kept saying you'd make it up to me, but everyone in this family likes him more. Grandpa protects him. My sister is used to taking care of him. Even Ningbing used to have eyes only for him. He has so much gold, along with houses and storefronts. What about me? Apart from your empty promises of love, I have nothing. After you came back, I gave you an unlimited supplementary card. Your mother bought you a house, and your welcome gifts, car, and watch were worth tens of millions altogether, and you still think you have nothing. But none of that compares to what Fang Yuan has. Fang Zun suddenly raised his hand and pointed at me. He's nothing but a fake. Why should he get to take 18 years of my life and walk away with so much from the Fang family? If he didn't exist, all of this would belong to me. I finally understood. He wasn't short of money. He simply couldn't stand seeing me have money. Fang Zun, the hardships you suffered weren't caused by Fang Yuan. When he was brought back, he was only a baby. He never deliberately took anything from you. He even willingly stepped aside and let you have the engagement. By Ningbing's expression stiffened. That didn't sound like a compliment. It sounded like a reminder that she had only gotten what I didn't want. Fang Zun suddenly lunged for the chat records on the table, but I stepped aside first. The old man's cane struck the floor hard. Enough. He looked at Fang Zun, and the last trace of warmth in his eyes faded. You say I'm biased toward Fang Yuan, but do you know that every year, when he received the New Year's lucky money I gave him, he used part of it to buy me presents? He loves money, but he never takes money that isn't his. You keep claiming you're starved for love, yet everything you do only hurts other people. Starting today, move out of the Fang family estate. Dad, if you want to acknowledge him as your son, take him to your own home. But as for my belongings, he won't touch a single one again. Fang Zun looked desperately toward Fang King and Bai Ningbing. This time, Fang King didn't speak for him. Bai Ningbing hesitated for a long time, but still took his hand. I'll leave with you. I gave her an admiring look. The trash had found its trash can. A satisfying ending. In its own way. The genuine 100 Blessings gold album was eventually recovered intact. Fang Zun had sold 11 pieces. Fortunately, the buyer hadn't melted them down yet. The remaining 89 were hidden in the apartment he had rented. Their packaging hadn't even been opened. Mr. and Mrs. Fang compensated the buyer for the loss. The old man never saw him again. Fang Zun was taken to another home owned by his parents. He was still the Fang family's biological son, but his supplementary card was cancelled, and the house being transferred into his name was put on hold. He still had the family love he wanted most. He just didn't have any money anymore. I heard he caused a scene about it for a long time, interrogating his parents about why they kept saying they loved him, but refused to keep spending money on him. After hearing that, I thought he had a point. So money is where love is. Fang King later visited my shop. He stood on the other side of the counter and awkwardly set down a box. Inside was a 100-gram gold bar. This is for you. I picked it up and waited, then tested its purity with the device. Why are you giving it to me? For what happened before? I owe you an apology. I always thought Fang Zun had suffered a lot out there, so you should give way to him. But I forgot that you hadn't done anything wrong. Apology accepted. That's all. Don't you have anything else to say to me? Next time, you can just transfer the money. Gold prices are high right now, and physical gold comes with a fabrication fee. It's not worth it. Fang King laughed in exasperation. He walked to the door, then turned back to ask me, are you coming home for dinner this weekend? Will there be a red envelope? Yes, then I definitely will. Mrs. Fang also often messaged me. She no longer asked when I would move back, and only asked what gifts I liked before holidays. Our relationship actually became better than before. As for Bai Ningbing, she really did get engaged to Fang Zun. I heard that before the engagement. They had a fight over the dowry. Fang Zun thought the Bai family had given too little, but Bai Ningbing thought greed had completely consumed him. I don't know whether they eventually married. I stopped paying attention. Once a return is successfully processed, who keeps checking the delivery status every day? My gold buying business kept expanding. By the time I was 25, I'd saved enough to live without financial worries for the rest of my life. That night, I had the rare dream of seeing Siming. She was still sitting behind the Reincarnation office counter, asking whether I was satisfied with this life's placement. A wealthy family's fake young master. Room and board included for 18 years. Family affection may be revoked at any time. Is the product description accurate? Accurate. Would you be willing to leave a 5-star review? I would. Siming sighed with relief and was about to stamp the after-sales form, but I pressed my hand down on the paper. Wait, what is it now? You said it was a rock-bottom price back then. So, Why didn't you tell me that this life's placement also came with a gold shop, 5 million yuan in relocation expenses, and more than 50 boxes of gold? Ming fell silent for a long moment. You earned that yourself. I looked at her and smiled, satisfied. I pressed my thumbprint onto the after-sales form. When I woke up, I found a transfer from Mr. Fang waiting on my phone. The note read, New Year's red envelope money. Remember to come home. I counted the zeros and immediately replied, Okay, Dad, I'll be home tonight. Family affection